Hi everyone, Alicia here. Welcome to our last video of the week. Happy Friday. Um, Here is another video where I will recommend some books to read while the library is closed, give you some ideas for activities to do with stuff you might have around the house at home, and tell bad jokes to keep you entertained when you can't come to the library and listen to me tell them in person. So today I'm going to be recommending some books about science and inventions, and my joke goes like this. I was reading a book about helium. I couldn't put it down. Ha ha ha. So our first book that I would like to talk about today is one for the younger kids. It is called Mechanimals by Chris Tougas. And you can read this one on Tumble Books. And it's about an elderly farmer whose farm animals are blown away by a tornado. And so after that happens, he uses all of the scrap left by the storm to create all of these mechanical animals instead, which include a flying pig, which is just kind of ridiculous and funny. So it's a silly and very imaginative book, and it's very short. And on a different level, I kind of appreciated reading a picture book where an older person was portrayed inventing and creating with technology, which sometimes isn't the stereotype, that you see portrayed in other books and media. So I appreciated that. It was a little bit fresh to see that. The next couple of books that I would like to recommend are by Andrea Beaty. And the first one is called Ada Twist Scientist. And this is part of this picture book series about kids who love science and engineering and architecture and all the fun things that they build and the trouble that they get into. And apart from the fact that I really like these books because they show girls, and especially a young girl of color as well, excelling in science and in engineering, the books are also just really fun to read. They're written in rhyme and they're very, very entertaining. The kids get up to all sorts of crazy hijinks while they're building things or doing science experiments. And they showcase the value of perseverance and curiosity, which I think are really great values to talk about with kids. So there are two other books by this author, Iggy Peck, Architect, and Rosie Revere, Engineer. And recently the author has also started writing a couple of easy chapter books about these characters. So you can read all of them on Freeding. So if you like one of them, go ahead and read the whole series, and look forward to some more in the future as this author keeps writing more books. My next title is for slightly older kids. This is more for those 7, 8, 9-year-olds, maybe even a little older. And it's called Nick and Tesla's High Voltage Danger Lab. Now, if I didn't get you on the title, well, I don't know. If the title alone didn't spark your interest, I'll have to tell you more about it. You can read this book on Freeding, and it is the first book in a series about two siblings who just love science and engineering and having adventures. And when their parents mysteriously disappear, they are sent to live with their uncle, and their uncle is a top secret engineer who creates all these gadgets for spies and the government. And so this is kind of a mystery adventure with loads of science and engineering. So for kids who are interested in science and those kinds of topics, I think they'll really like this. And the cool thing that really makes these books stand out is that there are do-it-yourself projects and science experiments in the books. So as you go through the book, the kids will build, they'll build a burglar alarm or something, and then there will be instructions in the book about how to make your own. And some of the projects are fairly advanced. So they are for older kids or for parents who like to do maker-y projects with their kids. They're fairly complicated, some of them. The last book I'm going to recommend is called Just Like Rube Goldberg. And this is by Sarah Aronson. And we don't have a copy of this book to read, but you can watch her read it yourself on YouTube. So the author has the book and she'll read it in the video. And this is a biographical picture book about Rube Goldberg, who's a household name now, who is known for the crazy contraptions that are now named after him. And I didn't know anything about him until I read this book, really. And he had a very interesting life. He wanted to be an artist when he was a child, but his father wanted him to have a stable job. So he urged him to become an engineer instead. But Rube Goldberg kept following his dreams, and he ended up being a Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonist. So this is an easy enough book for young kids to sit through, but it has lots of facts and really detailed illustrations of different Rube Goldberg machines that he illustrated and cartooned to engage the older ones. So I highly recommend this. It's really interesting, just another fascinating life to learn about. Our activity today is a chemistry activity. So I suggest that you make your own slime. So a lot of people have been making slime lately. It was kind of a fad for a while. And I haven't made any here to show you, but I put a link in the description of this video to a website that has a ton of really excellent recipes for how to make slime using different household materials. So things like glue or shaving cream, contact lens solution. There's lots of different recipes, and they even have some that are taste safe so that you can make with materials that it's okay if a kid puts it in their mouth. So if you have really young ones, there are some recipes that are safe for them to make as well. It's a fun thing to make. It's a little messy, but it's also a really neat science experiment. One tip from me about making slime is to put it in a Ziploc bag when you're done and zip it up, and that'll keep it fresh, and you can also play with it and squish it without getting your hands dirty. So that is my slime pro tip. Have you ever made slime? What's your favorite recipe? Let us know, share, and we'll see you next week. Bye.